Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Chromebook Classroom. It's an exciting day. He's back. Formerly MTech, now amazing ELA consultant, the one, the only Michael Pazik. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
It's exciting. Now you're like, hey, former MTech, you're going to use all your mad tech skills today, but you're actually here to talk to us about English language arts, but really specifically, you're going to take us through, why is it so important to really focus on sound production when we are doing our English language arts instruction with our students?
That's right. So yeah, we usually focus on, the reading and the writing and word work and stuff like that. This is a really good part of that word work, which can go from kindergarten all the way to grade 6. A lot of the times we work on sounds in kindergarten. You teach the sounds before you get to the print, so you want to start that. And that's really going to help if those kinder or grade 1 or 2 teachers want the digital sound walls and compared to like the sound wall that will actually be physical on a wall. This is a great way to do it. And then for all of those teachers that are in upper elementary, maybe 2 all the way to 6, if you prefer the digital part of it, this is going to really help you so that you can have that really personalized digital wall that all students can hopefully access. So that's the goal here, to show you how to do that, because there are ones that are online that you can buy, and who wants to purchase ones when you can make it for free?
Right? That's right. And plus there's also something about being able to co-construct this either with your students and then that gradual release of students doing this on their own. But okay, let's say I'm a little bit new to this sound game and I'm thinking, okay, I know the 26 letters of our alphabet, the sounds. There's more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, so that's what we usually have typically taught, is like the alphabet, of course, and then the one-to-one correspondence sounds. But as you know, there's no one-to-one correspondence when you get into the English language because it's so complex. So I'll take an example of the sound that N makes, right? So it can be represented by that single N, of course, a double N. It can be represented by a KN or a GN. So there's lots of different ways that we can actually represent that sound. And it's not just that one-to-one N sound. So that's what a sound wall kind of teaches all of our students to do, is to recognize that there's the sound that we start with, and then all of the written components that can be possibly the symbol that will make that sound. So that was the one example, but you can see here by all of these, there's the 44 phonemes of the English language. Those are the 44 sounds that we can possibly make with the English, the sounds that, right? It's not the print. That's the confusing part of this whole thing, is there's the print and then there's the sounds, but the phonemes and what we want to work on are the sounds. We want to make sure that the students know all those 44 sounds, and then the corresponding letters that are the formations of letters that we can have that will represent that sound. So you can see here, there's a couple of different ways. And when we read a dictionary, there's that phonemic chart that we kind of see. That's that bottom one there. But on the right side is what I want to show you. There is all of those phonemes can be represented by this kind of phonemic spelling. And so that's what we want to create today, is that digital sound wall. I don't know if, eventually you'll want to get to all 44. And as you were saying, Trish, you can either co-create it with your students. If you're a teacher, you want to create it for yourself, create it for your class. That's a lot of work for you. But if you want to do it that way, that's okay too. But if you want to co-create with your students, or even have students create their own, all those options are out there for you. So I'll show you a bit here. So this here is linked out when you get the slideshow, and you can see that there's a phoneme chart here that you have all these sounds. And I'm just going to go to the next one just to show you that you can see all the sounds are laid out really nice here. So if you want to copy this and have this scope and sequence on how you want to do it, this is another way that you can possibly do it and look through all this. And either if you're in upper elementary, you might want to focus on the more difficult ones. But of course, if you're in lower elementary, you'll want to do all of them just so that there's no gaps in that knowledge. And then going back here, this is linked out for you. So what you will do is you're going to create a chart. I'm going to show you an example here. This is kind of what the end game that you'll want to get to. So you can see here that there's a picture here of how to make the sound. There's the phonemic spelling of the sound. And then you can see there's audio that's attached to that. There's also a reminder of, especially for our ELL kids or those kids that are really struggling, you'll want a kind of a picture prompt to know, and a really easy one, because you can see if that's a B, I know that that's going to be an E sound. So that is the long E. So that's why it's really easy reminder. And then, of course, this is what I was talking about, all the different ways that we can represent that long E sound. And there's lots of them on this one. You don't have to have an exhaustive list, but as you go through and as you are introduced to more, or you can see it in print, you can start adding to these lists if you have this digital word sound wall, because that's the whole thing. It's a living document, right? It's not something that you just make and leave. Right?
Well, this is what I love about it. This is not one of those laminated posters that we're just going to put up on a bulletin board and leave. Like, this is meant to be interactive. So I'm geeking out as I'm listening to you, because I'm like, oh, we're going to have to take a picture. We're going to have to use a camera. We're going to have some audio sounds here. We're doing screenshots. Okay, this is looking good. And you're using it within a tool that our students are used to using almost every day, and that's Google Slides. That's what you've got going here. And you're just on your teacher Chromebook today. This is what I love. You're authentically on your teacher Chromebook, and you're going to take us through how we can make one of these slides.
That's exactly right. So hopefully that's everything that I'm doing is going to be exactly your same experience, because like Trish said, I am on the Chromebook here, which is what we're hoping you will do. So we'll go to this one here, and this is kind of the template of the thing. So we want to build it like this one, but we'll see what we can do here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to insert this picture. So if I go to here, and if I want to insert this picture, I will go here and I will say insert image. And then I choose my camera option here on my Chromebook. It'll bring it up and you'll see there's me. And I'm going to make that sound B. And when I'm making it, I'm going to take that picture. So I'll say B and take that picture. I like it. I'm going to click that one and I'm going to say insert. And then there I am. And I'm going to bring this up here. And then the best part about it is I don't need all of this and the background and everything. So if I double click, you can see that black bar that comes up. That means I can crop this picture. The other way here is you can see that it's up here. The crop image is another way you can do it here. But either way, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop that in so that I just have that sound in my mouth. Oh, and that one, I'm going to Control Z that, because I didn't choose the right one. You got to make sure that you get the black lines, or else you can see that goes. And then I'm going to bring that one down and bring that one up a little bit. And that's probably close enough. Maybe I'll bring this one in a little bit more.
That's great. And so kids can just take this on their Chromebook. And the cool thing is if you press the space bar, that's your camera trigger. Make that space, make that smile, make that sound. Right. Love this.
And then you press, the space bar. And then now it's a little small. So if I do my little trick here of Control Alt J K. So if I'm holding down Control and Alt and I press the K, I can make it a little bit bigger. And you can see.
Oh, this is great.
And then I can kind of center it where I want it to be. And there it is. That we'll leave it at that. We'll let you guys fine tune the stuff. But as long as you know how to do it, that's it. You take the picture, you crop it, and then you can put it in that little box. So that's the first step there, is making that picture for the sound. So that's the first one. The second one we want to do is, if we go back to here, is inserting this, the sound that we're making. So like I said, this was linked out here. And if you open it up, it'll bring you here. And then what you want to do is you'll want to take a screenshot of this. So the way to do that is, if I show you back here, if you do that Control Shift and then that little, it's kind of like the screen. I don't know what that button is called.
It's called a window switcher's key. I like to call it these slices of bread, because it looks like a loaf of bread, and there's slices. So we're taking a slice of our screen. That's how I tell kids. That's how I tell teachers. It's actually officially called a window switcher's key. But yeah, it's like take a slice of your screen with those buttons.
So that's what we'll do here. So I'm going to do the Control Shift and that bread. I like that. And then you can see that I got my little crosshair and my little plus here. So I'm moving that around. I'm going to put it right to the top here, and I'm going to press and drag so that I get what I want. And then you can see I got exactly the part of the screen that I want. And then I can click that little capture there, and I've got it. So it's copied to my clipboard.
Perfect.
I can even say show in folder if you wanted to. So I can click here and you can see where it goes into my Google Drives. It's right there. So if I want to, I can even copy it from here. But when I get back here, I'll want to paste it in my spot. So I'm going to come back here and you can count. You can do the snake bite if you want, for that's the right click on the Chromebook. And then I'm going to say paste.
Or Control V, nice
Or
shortcut.
Control V also does it.
Yeah.
Let's see if it'll show up for me. Oh, it doesn't look like it's coming up. Let's do paste without.
Maybe didn't like the copy.
Yeah, let's go back.
Instant text replay of copying and paste. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, it's still there for me. So I'm going to say capture. It's there. Copy to clipboard.
Yeah. Now you should be able to just hit paste.
Let's see. We'll go back here and paste. Yeah, there we are. So I'm just going to put that in the right spot again. Again, if I want to size it again, it's that Control Alt and then J makes it a little bit smaller, and I'll put it right in the spot where I want. Again, you'll fine tune where you want it to be. Yeah. But then what I want to do is I want to make the sound also. So I want to hear the sound. Okay. So that's the next part about it, is that I will go to my online voice recorder. That's all it is. It's right here. It's onlinevoicerecorder.com. And you can see, I'm just going to refresh this so that I can create the sound. All you have to do is you make sure your microphone is allowed when the first time you do it. I've already allowed it on here. And if you want to check that, you can click this little thing and make sure that that little microphone is available.
Yep.
And then once it's there, I'm just going to record B and stop that. And then you can listen to it back.
Great.
And there it is. And even if you wanted to make it a little bit, look, I can kind of
shorter. Oh yeah, look at you being able to trim. What I love, I know there's a login button on the top right hand corner of this service. You don't need to log in. You don't need to sign up. You're just borrowing the service. All data is disappeared. It doesn't keep it. It doesn't save it on the site. You're actually just going to save this straight into your downloads.
Yeah. So that's all I have to do is I have to say, click this little save button. It's going to say show in folder. I'm going to see where it actually takes me, and it goes right to my downloads. So if you've got it set up otherwise, you just make sure you know where that's actually going. And then even from here, what I might want to do, just so that you know which one it is maybe rename that right away so that I know that this is kind of that E sound, and I'm going to say E as in B, just to make sure that it's very clear which one it is. Okay. And so that now I know. Oh, I'm going to do that. That's okay. So it was already, well, maybe I'll rename it because I could see that I already named that one something. So I'm going to rename that one just EE, just so I know.
You've clearly done this strategy before. I love it. It's like, hey, right. I remember this.
So there it is. That's what I want. So it's in my downloads. If you want to, or the way you can do that too, is you can even drag this over into your Google Drive. If you had some file, if you already had like a sound wall file, and that's probably, if you're going to build 44 of these, I would probably recommend making a file in your Google Drive so that when you drag that over, it's just going to go straight into that file. I'm just going to put it into my generic My Drive, so it's very easy for me to find right now. And then when I go back to my slideshow here, I'm going to insert that sound.
Oh, that's so easy.
So then when I go up here, I'm going to say insert audio. And then I want to find it here. So if it shows up right there in my, if you don't shows up in my drive, if you put it, you can also go to your recents, and it's going to be the most recent one there too. So I'm going to choose that one. That's the EE one. And I'm going to select that. And yep.
Oh, it's warning you. So here's a really good warning. One thing to remember when you're inserting audio in Google Slides, I like to make that folder in the drive, just like you suggested, Michael. You're going to want to change the folder that holds those audio files to anyone in ECSD can view, because Google Slides will protect you. It's saying, hey, Michael, Trish doesn't have access to this audio file. Do you want to be able to share it? But if you share that folder of audio files, it will take on those permissions every time you put it in there. Then you won't have this.
Right. So that's a good tip and trick right there. I'm just going to turn it on for now, just so you know. Yeah. And then there you go, so that you have it. And then you can see that there's a little I don't know, sound, a little horn almost that's comes up there, and that's right there. So that can also just, you can place that anywhere. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to, you make it fancy, you can change that picture. And actually I could really, if we were getting really technical, I could change that picture into that E, and then
Right.
that would even be better. So, but I'll let you guys play with that, but that is a possibility. And then if you wanted to change that picture just for this one, you could do that as well. But that's a different scenario that we'll get
That's
to,
right.
because
But
this
I
works
love
as
that
well.
play button because it makes the kids say, oh, hey, that's going to make a sound. I want to click that. I want to play it. So I love how you've got that little play button right over top of the phoneme.
Yeah, and it's not looking pretty, but like I said, you guys will make it all pretty as you go along. But that's it. So now you've got that E sound and you've got the sound embedded, and then the last part you'd want to do is making sure that reminder again that this is a long E, especially if you've got lots of these going on. And then sometimes, as you know, with this one too, that E does look a little different sometimes. So there's the short E, right? So you want to, sometimes it's confusing. Which one's the short E? Which one's the long E? So that's why having a picture here as a reminder is a good thing to do. So you'll just want to insert an image. I'm going to search the web and do it. And B is a great one because that one's very easy to know. So let's see if there's any B's for us. Oh, there's lots of good pictures here.
Lots of
So
bees. This is
I'm
great.
just going to choose any B here. This one's a really nice live picture, which I like to drag it over there. Again, I can make it a little smaller with that Control Alt and J. Make it a little smaller and drag it in here.
Wow.
And now I've got how I form the sound with my mouth, what the long E sound looks like, how it sounds, and then a picture reminder. And then eventually you'll want to fill these in. This is just text, so how the sound is formed. So sometimes different sounds are different ways, like our jaws are lower or our tongue is at the top of our mouth or things like that. So if you want little reminders on how to make the sound, you can put that there. Again, with this one, you can see that there's lots of different combinations on how you can make that sound. So you can put that here and you can make a representation of that. And then of course you'll want to, it's almost like the word wall. You'll also want to get a whole bunch of words that have that long E sound and put them here. And then it's rinse, repeat again, right? So
This is amazing because it's so simple, but it's like we're constructing that meaning. If this was just a poster that I just got online or just printed or something, that is not as meaningful to building this with students. But we can always come back if we find a word in the classroom or in our reading or in any of our content areas. We can come back and add it to this. Like, this is one of those things you said, it's a living slide deck where I'm constantly being able to come back and build this. I can easily duplicate slides here and just make another one for new sounds. This is very doable.
Yes, I'm hoping it's going to be useful for teachers and students alike, because this is important to teach, even all the way up to grade 6. I think a lot of these students in grade 6 will really benefit from really knowing those sounds and knowing the combinations of letters that go with those sounds. It really helps decode words, and even in grade 6, we have a lot of students that are struggling with some of that decoding, and this is really going to help your students along.
Well, thank you so much for this, Michael. It's back. It's good to have you back with MTech for even just one episode. Below this video, you will absolutely get a copy of Michael's slide deck with that lovely template for you to be able to build your own, as well as a link to their entire ELA SharePoint page that has just hundreds of resources for all different types of things for that English language arts instruction. I know it's just a treasure trove, even just seeing those phoneme posters and things like that on there. You'll be able to check that out. And I hope we do more of these again someday, Michael.
I hope so too. But thank you for having me today, and enjoy and building it, and let us know if you know your experiences.
Thanks. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
See you.